You're listening to Four Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast.
Today is Wednesday, May 27th. I'm Maria Lisignoli.
I'm Johnny Kahner. Thanks for listening and watching Four Things to Know.
Our top story today, we are still following last night's shocking announcement that Brian O'Hara has resigned as Minneapolis police chief. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey made that announcement last night, saying that when he told Brian O'Hara that he was going to be disciplined up to and including discharge, O'Hara then resigned. This all started last year with an accusation that Brian O'Hara had sexually intimate relationships with city employees that worked under his authority. Those allegations were not founded, but investigators did find evidence that O'Hara interfered with that investigation, saying they found that O'Hara intentionally deleted a contact number for someone from his city-issued cell phone during the original investigation to hide his connection with that person. The report also says O'Hara ignored instructions not to discuss the investigation while it was ongoing.
Although the investigators have concluded that this interference does not change their ultimate conclusion contained in the original report, in other words, the allegations of relationships with city employees, the interference itself is a breach of trust.
Brian O'Hara had been the Minneapolis police chief for 3.5 years. He is married and has 2 children. His family lives on the East Coast. Assistant Minneapolis Police Chief Katie Blackwell is now the acting police chief. And Johnny, we know Minneapolis City Council members had some strong reactions to O'Hara's resignation.
Yeah, Maria, they really did. And that leads us to number 2 today. This afternoon, we heard from Minneapolis City Council leaders Elliot Payne, Robin Wansley, and Jason Chavez.
This has an overarching implication for all of police accountability, because accountability is built on trust and transparency. And when we don't have active collaboration with the administration, whether that's the mayor or the safety commissioner, we cannot do our jobs effectively. And so what we need today is for the mayor to both share the results of those previous reports and work with us on identifying the leadership for the police department and the Office of Community Safety together and collaboratively. We have a shared interest in an effective and accountable public safety system in the city of Minneapolis, and it is critically important that we work in collaboration with the mayor to do that.
On Tuesday, the day before we received news of Chief O'Hara's resignation, our community gathered to honor the 6th anniversary of the murder of George Floyd. And despite promises of reform and change, there is no meaningful work from Mayor Frey to show other than a growing list of safety commissioners and safety leaders who have left under problematic or concerning conditions. Mayor Frey asking Brian O'Hara to resign is a symptom of a much larger problem, which is simply Mayor Frey continues to be unable to effectively manage the Minneapolis Police Department.
Mayor Frey has complete control over the Minneapolis Police Department, and he will continue to have complete control over the police department. We have seen under his leadership a lack of accountability for the police department. That includes for the chief, and this case is no different than that.
Those city council members you just heard from spoke earlier this afternoon. Now, as of this recording, we still do not have an announcement responding to those comments from Mayor Jacob Frey, but we will, of course, bring you that tonight on WCCO News.
Number 3. This morning, a man was shot multiple times while he was attending a prayer service for Eid Al Adha, an Islamic holiday. This is according to Shakopee police, who responded to a weapons complaint at Canterbury Park just before 10 this morning. The 26-year-old man who was shot was taken to HCMC. Police did not disclose his condition. As of around noon today, police are still working to identify the shooter as well as any other people who were involved. Anyone with information should contact the Shakopee Police Department at 952-445-1411. Again, 952-445-1411. Look for updates on this story on air and online at WCCO.com.
Now to your 4th thing to know today, a man who jumped from a 4th-floor balcony to evade arrest will remain behind bars on fraud charges. His name is Muhammad Omar. Omar was caught on camera limping away after he jumped last week. He is one of 15 people charged by the DOJ in Minnesota's ongoing fraud crisis. Our Adam Duxter was in court today as Omar's attorneys pleaded his case at a detainment hearing.
Omar himself appearing in a wheelchair. They say he's got a broken leg, and he was flanked on both sides by U.S. Marshals. And the federal government arguing to that federal judge, saying if he were to make an attempt to flee once, they believe he would make an attempt to flee again. Even if he was wearing a GPS monitor, they feel he would make an attempt to flee, not just Minnesota, but potentially even the country. And of course, the judge siding with that argument today. But again, this video shown during last week's press conference with U.S. leaders showing Omar after jumping 4 floors to evade arrest. They showed it once more in federal court this morning. Omar's attorneys argued he was sleep deprived at that moment from taking care of his newborn child. They say he jumped in a moment of panic. Federal prosecutors challenged that idea, saying any sort of momentary panic went out the window when Omar later drove himself to his cousin's house in Blaine, and his family got rid of that car, suspecting the feds could be watching. They also argued that Omar has multiple properties in Kenya, as well as both his parents in Somalia, as well as an 11-year-old child. In the end, a federal judge saying, yes, Omar is a flight risk, and he will stay behind bars no matter how long this trial will take. Of course, he was accused of healthcare fraud, stealing potentially millions of dollars that was meant to go towards programs. They say he allegedly misused that money, and it is a penalty that could potentially lead to a maximum of 10 years behind bars in prison if he is convicted.
Those are your 4 things to know today. Let's get a check-in now on our next weather forecast.
Hi, meteorologist Joseph Dames tackling your Wednesday forecast, and check out those high temperatures. Temperatures today topping off at 90 degrees. Metro average late May 73 above average by a significant margin. It's just going to feel like summer for a little bit. Heading into tonight, we'll have some cooler temperatures down into the 60s, and then we're back to the mid 80s for your Thursday, and the humidity levels come down, dew points in the lower 50s.
And now, here's more to know.
A bill signing blitz for Governor Tim Walz on Tuesday. He signed 9 of them, and now a wide range of changes are becoming Minnesota law. One of those bills includes changes to strengthen the fight against fraud. It makes it easier for the state to withhold payments of tax dollars to anyone with credible fraud accusations. Another bill makes changes to protect kids on social media. Kids under 16 will now need their parents' permission to make accounts, and those accounts will have strict privacy settings. There's also a bill that will create a pilot project for the use of psychedelic mushrooms. They would be allowed for therapeutic use for Minnesotans who have qualifying medical conditions. Some other major measures in these bills include funding for HCMC, the trauma hospital struggling to stay afloat in downtown Minneapolis, security for lawmakers after last summer's deadly attack, and banning prediction market trading. The federal government is now suing the state to try to stop that ban from taking effect in August.
Today, a World War II pilot from Minnesota is finally returning home more than 80 years after his death. Lieutenant Thomas Ruth was shot down and killed in the Pacific Ocean during the war. His remains were finally identified last year. The Navy pilot grew up in the small town of Jackson in southern Minnesota, and today he will be buried there with full military honors.
This afternoon, a project years in the making will finally break ground. It will transform a 2.5-mile stretch of Highway 65 in Blaine. Bridges will carry Highway 65 over cross streets with some roundabouts below. This freeway design is supposed to make the stretch safer for drivers, and the work is expected to last 4 years.
The city of Minnetonka is getting a big funding boost towards protecting the environment. Bloomberg Philanthropies just awarded Minnetonka $50,000. Now that money will go to support the city's Youth Climate Action Fund. That's a program to get young people involved when it comes to helping our climate. So Minnetonka organizations can apply for those funds, which will be sent out over the next few months. And Minnetonka is only one of 300 cities around the world to be selected for the program. Only 56 of those were United States cities.
Now to some sports headlines. A star player for the Green Bay Packers is facing charges related to allegations of domestic violence. Police in Wisconsin arrested Josh Jacobs yesterday after an encounter over the weekend. The 5 charges include felony strangulation and suffocation. Now, we don't know who the alleged victim is. Jacobs denies the allegations in a statement given to CBS News from his lawyers. The 28-year-old is one of the league's top running backs, finishing last season with 14 touchdowns. The NFL and the Packers have only said they are aware of the matter.
Sticking with football, in some brighter conversation, Maria, practice is underway for the Minnesota Vikings, so we are going to get a new look at quarterback Kyler Murray. Now, our Mike Max, of course, is out there in Eagan today. He's going to have a full update tonight, but that's going to be interesting all offseason. You know, last year we talked about JJ all year. Now he's got some competition. Should be fun.
Kyler Murray. What do we know about Kyler Murray?
Yeah, he was the former first overall pick for the Arizona Cardinals. He spent his whole career there. So much potential, but he's dealt with injuries the last few years. Hasn't lived up to the hype, but he's got a lot of talent.
Okay.
So, and our coach is the proclaimed quarterback whisperer. So you never
didn't
really
work
know.
last season, but
didn't work last season. But that'll be fun. Yeah, definitely see Maxie's report tonight. The Twins in Chicago, game 3 of their 4-game series against the White Sox. They're 1-1 so far. First pitch is at 6:40. And last thing in sports, the Lynx, they get a bit of an early season showdown when number 1 Atlanta comes to town tonight. Now, still too early to get caught up in the standings, but we know they're without Nafisa Collier, so they're still trying to establish an identity that they can use without her. And the Lynx say it's all about communicating on the court. And we caught up with head coach Cheryl Reeve.
Your ability to communicate, whether it's offense or defense, if you're running around not communicating, everything is hard. It doesn't matter what it is. And so the chemistry can be developed faster if that's their mindset. You got to connect with what's happening.
It's time to take a breath with your Daily Bright Spot.
2 Minnesotans made it past the quarterfinals this morning at the Scripps National Spelling Bee.
Let's go. Keep going.
Right? Okay, so we've got PJ Vanderheiden and Wade Salvi. Take a listen.
Barotropic. Barotropic. Barotropic.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Acapnea. A-C-A-P-N-I-A. Acapnea.
That's correct.
Thank you.
That is so impressive. For as much as we are writers for our careers, I am the worst speller.
I don't even know what either of those two words mean.
No,
I have never even heard of them.
No.
So I don't know how to spell them.
Let alone how to spell them is so impressive.
Incredible.
These kids are awesome. So PJ, he's in 8th grade at Discovery Middle School in Alexandria. He likes playing tennis, piano, cello, and cross-country skiing. And then Wade is in 6th grade at Minnetonka Middle School East. He likes playing soccer, basketball, flag football, and running cross-country. The semifinals are tonight, okay? And then, if they make them through that, the finals are tomorrow night.
And it keeps going down and down, right? I saw, 100 kids were eliminated yesterday?
I mean,
Something
yes,
like that?
hundreds get eliminated each and every round. So really exciting. I thought, Johnny, we could do something fun today for our bright spot and do a little spelling bee of our own.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see who's going to win.
Okay. You want to go first?
Yeah. Could you spell? So I wanted to pick a word that kind of commonly used, but the spelling's tricky. Silhouette.
That's a good one. Can I get the definition? Just kidding. Okay, silhouette. SILLOETTE.
It's a good guess. No, there's a hidden H. SILHOU, I think. ETTE maybe. I don't even know. I looked it up. Yeah, and I wanted to find one that was commonly used.
That's really
kind
good.
Kind of cheating though. I feel like I should know how to spell it.
Let's look it up. SILHOUETTE.
There you go. I would have had no idea.
Gosh,
yeah, I couldn't even remember
tough.
it from 30 minutes ago. So.
Okay, Johnny, here's your word. Ready?
Yes.
Symmetricus.
Symmetricus.
It is a Greek word meaning having wavy hair.
SIMOTRICKIS.
Nope.
Not even close?
Not even close. I mean, a little close, I guess. You had some letters correct.
I would hope so.
Symmetricus. CYM.
Oh my gosh.
OTRICHOUS.
Wow.
This was the
And these kids can get that too.
Right.
That's the crazy thing.
This was the winning word from 2011.
Oh,
I know.
wow.
Symmetric.
Should've been
Having
watching.
wavy hair. Interesting. I love it.
Interesting.
I know.
Good to know. We'll study up.
We'll study up. Good thing, honestly, we have spell check.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
That's all I really.
And no one can see our scripts.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us here on 4 Things to Know with Johnny Kahner. I'm Maria Lisignoli, and we're here with the news you need every weekday afternoon by 3 o'clock.
Listen to 4 Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.